At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join OPTAVIA, but please note they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in Health, the OPTAVIA team.
So my name is Gaffney.
And I am Bob Gaffney, and we are independent certified OPTAVIA coaches.
And we're excited tonight to present to you our Habits of Health community time call. The topic tonight is loving yourself to optimal health.
Absolutely. So just dive in.
Yeah, I'm going to just dive on in and thought we'd start with just sharing my story. And, we really help people move from surviving to thriving. And personally, I really had to learn to love myself. And I went from trying, our background is we're fitness professionals, and I went from trying so many different types of diet, over exercising throughout almost my whole life. I just turned 50. But finally I learned through this program to change my entire lifestyle, and I've never felt better about my overall health. I know that this has changed our lives so much, and you can see here my transformation. It was really revolutionary. I lost 40 pounds in 10 weeks, and my whole physical body changed. But what you don't see is that my mind changed, my habits changed, and it just really was an amazing transformation that led to us pretty quickly deciding that we wanted to pay it forward. And it was just a natural fit. It was that ripple effect because so many people were asking that we wanted to share this gift. So let's go on to our first poll, actually.
All right.
So we have a poll for you. And we want to know, what do you love about these webinars? And the poll is going to pop up here in just a second. Okay, first, they are super informative. They make me feel like a part of the community. They keep me motivated on my optimal health journey. Or I'm not sure yet, this is my first webinar. And if this is your first webinar, we want to give you a super warm welcome. You are going to love it. So go ahead and choose your result there. And we're excited to see what that is. I know what mine is. Do you know what yours is?
I know what mine is, and I just know that I love these webinars. I know how informative they are.
Yes.
I love the fact that they're part of a huge community, and just it's wonderful.
Yeah, so we've been listening to these since we started coaching, since I first became a client. They were a very important part of our journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think the results are going to pop up here in just a second. There's so many of you, it's taken a while to calculate. There it is. Okay, awesome. So the highest percentage is 67%. They keep me motivated on my optimal health journey. Love it. Me too. Then we have 44%. They make me feel like a part of the community.
Nice.
35%. They are super informative. And then 23%. I'm not sure yet. This is my first webinar. I love it. So many people, your first time here. Awesome. Okay. So let's move on to our agenda for this evening, Bob?
Okay, gang, so buckle up. For those of you who have a pen and paper handy, get ready because you're going to be taking a lot of notes. So here's our agenda. So basically, we're going to start off with some mindset. So basically understanding the value of self-love. Next, it's skill set. So it's discussing strategies, skills, habits, and tools that you can use to love yourself to optimal health. And then the last piece, of course, is action. So this is where we're going to share some specific tips to improve your relationship with yourself. So with that,
Love that piece.
Dive deeper.
The action piece, super
Yes,
important, right? Can't forget
exactly.
that one.
Exactly.
Okay, so there is a quote here. I love this by Dr. A. It's actually on in your life book on page 51. Our goal is to help you create immense success and satisfaction in your personal and professional life. And you can see here on the left-hand side of your screen, this is our Habits of Health system, and it is life-changing because we know that we can't change what is going on out here. We can't control what's going on out there, but we can control what's going on in here. And we can become more conscious and aware. So this system was developed by Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, and he is an amazing man. He's dedicated his life to serving mankind, and we're just so honored to get to partner on this mission with him. The system he's provided and designed has a series of steps to create long-term success to really help you rewrite your story and create lifelong transformation, as you're going to hear us say a few times, one healthy habit at a time. We have the amazing Habits of Health manual, which is a reference guide full of information that will really change the way you see things in your body and your health. We have an app on your phone that guides you in each step of your journey, and then your life book, which is an interactive journal. It is really going to help you wake up through 26 different elements and really just have a completely different life experience.
Absolutely. So gang, so what I'd love for you guys to do is focus to the graphic that's on the right here for a second. And I want you to think about it in terms of what is self-love to you. So basically, are you open? Are you curious? And do you have a growth mindset as it pertains to your own personal self-love? Or are you more below that line there? Are you closed? Are you defensive? Do you always want to be right when it comes to your personal self-love? So with that, look back over to the left-hand side. Let's talk a little bit about self-awareness. So self-awareness is the knowledge and awareness of one's own ability and personality, individuality and character. Self-acceptance is the act or state of understanding and recognizing one's own abilities and limitations. And of course, self-care is care for oneself and self-treatment. So these are some of the things that we're going to really dive in a little deeper here as we move forward in this presentation. So with that, what I'd like to do is talk to you guys about our first speaker. Now, these are really, really good friends of ours.
Super excited.
Great business partners. They have an amazing story of self-love. And with that, I'd love to bring on Jen and Rich Reiser.
Woohoo! Super excited. Look at that beautiful transformation there. Jen and Rich, welcome. Go ahead and share.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Jen Ryser, and this is my husband, Rich.
Hi.
And we are independent OPTAVIA coaches. I want to thank Bob and Laura for inviting me to speak tonight on this topic of self-love and self-care. It's something that was not a part of my life for a very long time. And my weight did play a big part in that. Also, like most moms, I would do for others way before I would ever do for myself. Rich and I have 2 children, and I've worked full-time as a dental hygienist for over 20 years. It can be a really stressful profession, both physically and mentally. I had to plan my whole life around my work hours, which meant I missed all of the school events. I missed all of my kids' sports events. I would just get so overwhelmed by all the stress and the anxiety and the exhaustion, and just feeling like I was never moving forward in my life or in my health or in my own happiness. And we certainly weren't moving forward in our financial struggles. It was like I wasn't really living a life, I was just surviving it. But starting the 5-in-1 program, that was the beginning of everything changing for me. And I really only wanted one thing. I wanted to lose the weight, and I wanted to look good and feel comfortable in my bathing suit on the beach, my favorite place. I really didn't expect anything else, but I lost over 40 pounds. And that not only made me feel good about how I looked, it made me feel healthy and full of energy. And it made me feel proud of myself for what I had accomplished.
Yes, it did. And the whole house felt that. It was like I had a whole new and improved version of my wife, and I loved it. And then she decided that she wanted to take that step forward, and she decided to start coaching with me, and we haven't looked back. It actually brought us a lot closer as well.
It did. So learning to love myself and making myself a priority in my own life has changed pretty much everything I do compared to 3 years ago. My outlook on life now is 100% positive with no drama allowed. I made a decision to love myself enough to not tolerate anything that does not support my physical and mental health and my future happiness. So by 2020, I felt like I had pretty much mastered loving who I was, but there was still one thing that I was in this battle with over being able to do that. It was my 23-year career as a hygienist. It had served me really well for a long time, but it was holding me back from that freedom that I wanted to give myself. All day in that head-to-toe PPE was not for me. I came home from work stressed with terrible neck pain from 20 years of practice.
All the time.
I was basically no good to anyone at home because I was recovering from my days in the office. So I felt like I had this newfound love for myself and for my life, but being tethered to that job was constantly pulling me backwards from that. And finally, I was facing a few choices involving that job that would cause me to compromise some of the things that mattered most to me. One of which was that my daughter was about to start high school, and it was her #1 dream since she was a little girl in elementary school to play on the high school soccer team. And I knew that being at that office would cause me to miss every single game. And I decided that that was a non-negotiable for me. And staying there would be exactly the opposite of self-care. So I walked away from that career 88 days ago to be a full-time OPTAVIA coach. So my #1 tip for learning to love yourself is do not compromise on what you need to be physically, mentally, and financially healthy. Just make that a priority for yourself. And that's it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I love that. And I think we get a little choked up every time we hear Jen's story. And the chat, I don't think Jen can see it, but and Rich, it is absolutely blowing up. You brought some people to tears. There's a lot of people who can relate to your story on here. A lot of nurses, dental hygienists, pediatric hygienists, people who are wanting that time freedom that you just achieved and decided to go for 88 days ago. So, we love it because we get more Jen Reiser, and
Right.
I know her husband loves it too.
Yes, and we are honored that we get to partner with you and walk alongside you guys with this journey. So thank you so much, everybody. So let's keep going.
Okay,
All right.
awesome.
Okay, so I love this next
Yes,
slide
I
here.
love this one.
All right, so
For our car lovers
our
out
car
there,
lovers
right?
out there.
Any car
So,
lovers?
This is a fun analogy here that we have. So think about your health and think about your car. Think about taking care of your mind and your body versus taking care of your car. And think of it in terms of preventative maintenance. So let's talk about a couple things here about your car, right? So it's your car, right? You put gas in your car, right? So think of that as like the fuel that you put in your body. So like the food, okay? You put oil in your car. So think of the oil as hydration, healthy hydration. Think about when you wash your car, right? That's your hygiene, right? Think about the dashboard in your car, and think about when you have alerts on the dashboard in your car, and think about the way your brain thinks about your body and your mind and what's happening within your body. Also think about when you have a map, right? When you have a map, you know where you're going to go when you're driving your car. Well, if you didn't have one, where would you go? And think about having a blueprint for your health, like so having a plan.
Right.
And so one of the things that we want to think about in terms of your health and in terms of self-love is, are you parked right now in your health? Are you just sitting there not going anywhere, right? Or are you moving forward? We talked a little bit earlier about having an open, curious growth mindset when it comes to your health. Or are you literally still closed and defensive and committed to being right about what you think is right about your health? So I thought this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love all these. A lot of people love this analogy, and so much fun. And yeah, I always like to think, you check, is your engine light on? How's your car doing? Check in with yourself. How are you doing? Is your engine light on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're
Love
going
that.
to dive into another poll.
All right.
And this one is, what would improve the most if you loved yourself enough? Would it be your confidence, social interactions, stress management, prioritizing myself and my needs, and unconditional love for others? So if you are watching us live, please go ahead and make your choice. If you're driving a car, don't do that. And if you're listening to us on replay, we will give you the results from this poll in just a few seconds. So yeah, what would improve the most if you loved yourself enough? And we have 5,000 people on here.
Oh
so
my
this
gosh,
is going to be
love
a
it.
great sampling to see what people choose. So
Another few seconds here.
another few seconds, and I know what mine is.
I know what mine is.
Yes.
I do.
Did you
Without
cast your
question.
vote?
I did cast my vote in my head.
People are still going on about the car analogy. That
Great.
is
Good
awesome.
stuff. Good
Yes,
stuff.
it is
Lucky car
so,
lovers.
so real. And I like to liken that too to your phone, right? Like if our phone breaks, guys, we're gonna get that fixed pretty quickly, right? Because it is that important to us.
Yes.
Same thing with your car. You're going to get that fixed. Are we looking at ourselves?
Yeah.
And taking as good a care as ourselves, loving ourselves as much as we love the phone and the car.
I
So
love that.
I think the poll results are going to come up any second now. Here they are. Do you want to go ahead and read them?
Yeah, I do. Let's see here. So number one, with 33%. So prioritizing myself and my needs. Okay. So the next one at 33% is confidence. That's a big one. The next one is social interactions. And the last one is unconditional love for others. Actually, I did that backwards, but there we go.
They're
So
very close.
Yeah, they are
actually,
very
and
close.
stress management in there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, good spread
Yeah.
there. Prioritizing myself and my needs. I love that.
Absolutely.
So okay, so we are going to move on to our next guest speaker, and I'm so excited to get to introduce to you one of my near and dear friends. We went to college together, which may or may not have been a few decades ago. So I would like to introduce to you Carrie Keller. She's joining her is her husband Hans. And Carrie and Hans, please come off mute and share your story with us.
Thank you, Laura. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay. Thank you, Laura, for the wonderful introduction and the opportunity to share our story. Like Laura said, my name is Carrie Keller, and this is my husband, Hans, and I've been a coaching client for just over 4 years. For so long, I struggled just with the simple fact of loving myself. I was tired, sluggish, exhausted, irritable, stressed, and cranky. You didn't know I was cranky, did you? Most of the time, because I had this need to be everything to everybody and do everything for everybody. The 2-letter word, N-O, no, just wasn't in my vocabulary.
Except where it related to yourself.
Right. I had perfected the art of being busy and realized that I wore that as a proud badge of honor, and I found my value and self-worth by getting stuff done and things crossed off my to-do list. You see, the story I conjured up in my head was that my needs were not as important as the families or anyone else that may have needed me that day. My emotional fuel tank was running on low or even on empty, and there was no time left for me. I wasn't growing as a person, and I was kind of losing part of my identity of who I really was. So about 4 years ago, after yet another attempt to try and lose some weight, I was desperate. I'd like to call myself the queen of 10 pounds. I'd lose 10 pounds, gain 10 pounds, lose 10 pounds and then gain 10 or 12 pounds. I was on that vicious roller coaster ride of yo-yo dieting. And at the time I was hitting the gym pretty hard. I was getting up at an absurd hour to go to the gym before Hans and the kids got up so I wouldn't disrupt their schedules. And I can distinctly remember coming home, driving home after a workout. I was exhausted. I hadn't slept well. I got home. It was a rough morning getting the kids out to school, Hans to work, and then getting myself out to work. I had a full-time office job. And I just realized it can't go on like this anymore. Well, through the power of Facebook, that's why I reconnected with Laura. Laura and I, as she mentioned, are old college friends. We were not that many decades ago, but, and I happened to see her losing some weight on Facebook and I was just so impressed. But what inspired me more is that she was so vibrant and touting about so much energy and not feeling sluggish or tired. I wanted that. I needed that. And I really deserved to have that. So I picked up the phone and gave her a call. And on that call, I wasn't convinced 100%. You know, even though I was desperate for a change, old habits, self-doubt, a little guilt that I couldn't do it, I just wasn't there yet. But then her coach, Coach Sam, who was on the call with us at that time, said, very matter-of-factly, is what you're doing now working for you? I took pause and was like, no. That was like the slap in the face wake-up call that I needed to say, you know what? I need to make a decision for myself and make myself a priority. So getting my health in order is the best form of self-love. Like I said, so it's been a little over 4 years, and I lost my weight over the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's holidays. Started the day after Thanksgiving and went through, and I lost 22 pounds. And then my husband jumped on program shortly thereafter, and he lost 44 pounds. I credit my coach, Laura, the program, and this incredible community with showing me how important self-love and that it's okay to make myself a priority. I learned to say the 3-letter word of YES, yes to myself, and to show myself some grace. That was hard. I said goodbye to self-doubt and realized that self-love is an inside job and taking care, and I'm allowed to take care of myself first. So you may wonder, what do I do every day for self-care? And yes, I do self-care every day. I have my morning routine and I stay consistent with that. I write down what I'm grateful and thankful for every morning. I fuel my body properly. I eat 6 times a day. I drink at least 64 ounces of water. Today's Water Wednesday. And I aim to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. I fuel my emotional fuel tank by working in my life book. Just a couple pages every day. I'm not perfect, but I work in it every day. And one of the things that Hans and I do together is we get up and we walk every morning. We do about a 2.5-mile walk before he heads off to work. And I surround myself with all of you, our awesomely amazing, inspiring, healthy community. That's a great form of self-love. So what have I really learned during these last 4 years? Is just to love me and that I am my #1 priority. So we're all works in progress, but I found this great quote by Lucille Ball, and she eloquently states it: love yourself first, and then everything else falls into place. Is there anything you'd like to add, Hans?
Yeah, it's been really neat to watch the transformation, not only from the weight perspective, but really from the mind perspective. And the fact that the outpouring of love that Kerri's always had for everybody else, watching her turn that in towards herself and really kind of appreciating herself the way we all appreciated her. It's really been amazing to watch and see the transformation that she's gone through and really that focus on herself.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys again for this wonderful opportunity for us to share. Back to you, Laura and Bob.
Hey, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Kerri and Hans. And gosh, it's just been, it's been a beautiful thing to get to partner with you on this journey and with Hans, and just love hearing the love you have for yourself, because when we have that love for ourselves, then we can give it back out to others and really share this gift of optimal health. So, all right, so let's move on here.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about the benefits of self-love. So first and foremost, it boosts your confidence. So when you're feeling good, you can take on the world. It attracts positivity. I can promise you, when you are out there smiling, feeling good, there is a light shined on you, and you are bringing positivity wherever you work, wherever you walk. It increases motivation and productivity. I know for myself, when I'm feeling good, I pop out of bed, I'm pumped up, ready to attack the day, and I literally can just take on pretty much anything. In terms of health and personal growth, when you're open, curious, when you're feeling good, you are ready to learn. You're ready to learn about yourself, you're ready to learn about others, and obviously when your health comes first, you can do all those things. And then of course, it improves stress management. Gosh, when you're feeling good, really, you can, it's like water off a duck's back, right? You feel really good when things come at you, you have a clear state of mind, and you can attack things from a different set of lenses. So with that, let's keep moving here. All right.
I love that. So let's talk
Yeah,
about
this is good.
loving yourself to optimal health. And so I love this because this really looks at that mind-body connection, which is just so important for really knowing yourself. So, and this is an exercise that you might want to take a screenshot of this and do it on your own at some point. But what you would do is really just take a moment. And the first step is define the core emotion that you are feeling. So what is it that you're feeling? And then locate that sensation, the physical sensation in your body. So what I mean by that is sometimes we have, maybe if the core emotion is we're nervous or feeling anxious, maybe there's some tension in our shoulders or kind of a pit in our stomach, maybe that jaw's a little clenched. So find that sensation, breathe through it, and just allow, accept, or appreciate that sensation, and then match your experience with your expression and get the wisdom out of that emotion. So really connecting that mind body is going to help you with self-love.
Love that. Love that. You got me super focused now.
Awesome. Put you in a little trance there, huh?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about healthy mindset. So how committed are you to improve your feelings toward your health? Really think about that. Take a second and read that, absorb that. Think about what I just said. And then of course, what's holding you back from loving yourself enough? These are things that are very personal and dear to you. So really think about it. I talked about getting a pen and paper out earlier. Write it down. Write down your feelings. When they're down there, they're real.
Yes, yes. We learned that along this journey. Write it down. Journaling is so important. Grabbing that life book that you have, if you have that, using that, and it's really going to help with that healthy mindset piece.
Absolutely. And so guys, so we have some action steps here. You want to go into those?
Yes, yes. So let's see. Our action steps are going to be identify what thought, feeling, or emotion is triggering that unhealthy choice. Manage stress and take charge of your emotions by using Stop, Challenge, Choose. And that is a short ebook by Dr. A. I love it. I think I use that mantra every day for so many different situations.
Yes.
And then make yourself a priority and share your favorite takeaway from this community time with your coach.
Absolutely. And moving along here, guys.
Oh,
So
we
we
have one more poll.
we've got one
Yay,
more poll.
I love
which
these
I love
polls.
the polls. Yeah. So what will you guys implement? Will you implement something you learned from tonight's community time? So with that, yes, you definitely will. Yes, I probably will. Or no, I'm just not ready yet. So yeah, take your time. Think about what we discussed tonight, and go ahead and put your answer in there, and we'll give you a couple seconds here and find out the results.
Excited to see those results. And somebody had asked if they wanted to share this call with someone else, and we are going to tell you in just a second about the playback options for this. So yes, you can is the answer. And I love it. I love the chat blowing up here.
People learning to set emotional boundaries with themselves and others. I love that.
Yes, I needed this tonight. Thank you. Doing the heart work.
Absolutely.
Yes, love hearing that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we have the results of this poll.
I think it's popping up.
All
yes,
right.
it is. Okay, so yes, I definitely will. Overwhelming 72%. Yes, I probably will. 27%. Just 2%. No, I'm just not ready yet. You know what? And I love that. The 2%ers good for you for knowing where you are. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
So here we are. This is the information if you want to share this, Bob, about
I
how
do.
they can listen to this later.
I do. For those of you that are on here, of course, we have an amazing YouTube playlist, so you can check out all of our Habits of Health presentations. We also have Habits of Health podcasts. And for those of you who are like me, who need reminders, you can actually set up for our text messaging campaign. You can text OPTAVIA 30 to the number 99,000.
So if you haven't done that already, do it. Get out your phone right now and text OPTAVIA 30 to 99000. I love it because the link pops up.
Absolutely.
And makes it be so super easy. And next week, join us, and we're going to have Lifebook Element 2, Knowing What You Want to Accomplish, hosted by the wonderful person, Craig Blanchette. Can't wait to hear that. Really excited about that.
Absolutely.
At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The prior audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope those stories inspire you to continue your journey with or to consider joining OPTAVIA. But please note that they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.